Hi Diego, howdy YouTube, welcome to our show. Today is a video blog, my second one, and we're going to be talking about the direction of my show. Alright, direction of my channel, and we're heading off into a new pattern. There's only so much meat you can barbecue, and I've done most of that. I mean, I've cooked up lamb, pork, cow, chicken, game hens, you name it, turkeys, 300 pounds of pork. I've done it all, so I really can't make another barbecuing video without repeating myself. So I came up with this idea looking at my YouTube insights, and it shows who's watching your channel from what country, and I realized that I'm like being watched from 20 different countries. Granted, most of the people are right here in the U.S., but there's enough people in 20 other countries that they made some sort of a mark on the YouTube statistics. So I decided I would like to sit down with each one of you and see what y'all have for a meal. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. What do you have in your country? So I came up with around the world. I'm going to go to a different country each month, and I'm going to cook up a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, and a dessert based off of what people from those countries that I am friends with on YouTube, Facebook, and other social networks provide me as input. So, new change, not just barbecuing going on. In fact, you'll have to request barbecue videos if you want something specific. I'll be happy to work that out. It'll take about a month. Otherwise, I'm just going to toss them up randomly when I think I have something new going on, or when I experiment, because I like to share experimentations. So, we're going to England in October. We're going to have Bubbles and Squeaks for breakfast, Ploughman's lunch for Ploughman's hearty lunch, a traditional roast dinner. We're all going to see what the traditional roast dinner from the homeland is like. And for dessert, we're going to go with the bread and butter pudding. And I'm going to cook up each one of these dishes and we'll upload them once a week on YouTube in October. So I hope you have time to watch that. And if you're from another country out there someplace, you want to provide some input, send me a line. We'll get together on that. Also talking with some other people that may be collaborating with me on some of these videos, and I don't want to mention any names as I'm in communicating with them about doing a possible Ploughman's lunch, and they doing their regional variety of it, doing my regional variety of it, stating what the traditional English variety of it is. And so hopefully I'll be getting into some more collaborative videos with other YouTube cooks. I think that would be pretty fun. Do a little virtual cooking. And some survival videos. This isn't really survival like bushcraft type people. I come from a disaster preparedness background. I was a safety committee chairperson for a building with 350 people. I was also a representative on the Capitol campus emergency responders team, which is a really cool group of people from the different agencies that work on the Olympia's state capitol. There's over 6,000 people who are on or in a block of that campus at any given day. And having a coordinated effort for disaster preparedness response, emergency response, everything from how do we deal with a blizzard to an actual earthquake that destroys multiple buildings. And that was some really intense, really good work. I hope you guys are still out there doing that. That was fun stuff. Capitol Campus Emergency Response Team. And like I said, I also was in charge of a building of 350 people. I coordinated bi-yearly drills. I put together a budget with a 10-year cycle and the supplies needed to get people through the first 72 hours of a disaster. As we saw in Katrina, it takes 72 hours for the government to think about rolling into your neighborhood. And that's New Orleans, folks. That's a big city. 72 hours before your government can think about helping you. Don't wait for them. Be prepared. A little bit about charity. As many of you know, I've been a volunteer for Barb's Family and Friends charity here in Olympia, Washington for several years. And I founded my own charity, Americans for a Better World Through Peace and Education. I did this back in 2009. We're coming out of a decade of intense war and negativity towards Americans, and I think people forgot about what peace and education is supposed to do for the world, and that's what Americans are about. That's how we should all approach working together in this world, through peace and education. There's no charity that specifically focuses on these issues, and we're going to try and help solve the world's problems through peace and education, not through handouts. That's important. It's easy to help somebody up who wants a hand, but if you hand something out to somebody who doesn't want it, you're not helping them a bit. You need to identify the people who want the help and provide it to them as best you can. Peace and education go a long ways in that manner. Alright, about me. Last thing I mentioned was my background in a logging and farming environment. After showing cows in high school, I was a jock. I played football, wrestled, all that good stuff. I went into automotive in college for about 1.5 years, and then I transferred over into computers. At that point in time, I got a temporary job at Nintendo of America as a gameplay counselor. That's the first time I ever played a Nintendo video game, to be honest. I played Commodore and Apple games way back. If you remember the Trash 80, you know what I'm talking about here. Anyways, so I went to work for Nintendo for about 1 year, and then I went back to logging. After the Spotted Owl situation, I moved to Salt Lake City, where my supervisor from Nintendo was working. He got me a job, an interview. I got a job. Funnest job I ever had. My interview was, I walked into the president's office, I sit down, I talk to him for about 15 minutes, and I get hired. In that industry, I was a tester, I was an assistant programmer, I was an assistant artist, I was an assistant producer. Simplest interview I ever had for probably the most important and funnest job I've ever had. It's great. At the state, I had a 3-person interview panel for barely more than a minimum wage job. Oh yeah. So after leaving video game industries, I made about 90 video games on the Game Boy, the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis. I think it was called the Jaguar, was a spin-off back there. Then there was 64-bit Nintendo. It was about the end of my career in the video game industry. One of the last big titles I helped make was Mortal Kombat 3. And after that, I came back, took some time off, relaxed, and went back to work for the state, where I was a computer specialist, both in mainframe. Started off in mainframe, I moved over to servers. I also... Alright, just quickly, I'd like to mention I uploaded a video on my emergency preparedness car kit, behind the seat car kit. This is the smallest of my 2 kits I keep in the car, and I just wanted to mention that because I didn't make that clear when I asked for suggestions on what I could take out or add to the kit. Alright, I've had a few questions about who's Diego. Diego is a precious little angel that I will be seeing next year. Hi Diego! He's my grandson. I haven't seen him in several years since he was born, and he watches these videos with his mom. Kinda how I got going on these. I actually made some separate ones just for them too. And so I always say hi Diego because I'm hoping he's watching and learning how to cook up some good food like Grandpa. Just the way Grandma likes it. That's who Diego is. He's a nice little boy in the Philippines. And lastly, I wrote this down because the list is so big I would forget something. I would like to thank people on YouTube who have helped me out through encouragement, positive support, on and on and on. This is just the first group of people. There's many more than this, but this is the people that have been around the whole year. I'm coming up on a year now. Really want to thank these people for being such good friends, both new and old, on YouTube. Dan from Smokeygoodness. Hi Dan, I love your cooking. Smokeygoodness says it all. Julia from Foodaholics, thanks for inviting me to your channel. I enjoy contributing. Bob from Barbecue Pit Boys, the best barbecue show you're ever gonna watch. If you like mine, go watch his. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're already subscribed. John Campbell, ArizonaBushman, really appreciate all the tips and friendship. David and Tam Wendell from Bushcraftonfire. You guys make some really good informational videos, and I appreciate your friendship. You're a great guy. You too, Tam, except you're a great gal. And especially, I would like to thank you, Betty, from Betty's Kitchen, the June Cleaver of the YouTube food cooking channels. As I see it, she's the nicest, kindest lady, and what did I say about her? That's about it. Stop laughing back there. Thank you for watching. See you later, YouTube. Bye, Diego.